And we're back.
With bedtime stories.
Grownup edition. Unfinished business, part 6. When we left off, Angela sought sound counsel from Miss Brenda, and Regina has a bone to pick with LJ after her meeting with Amora. Regina looked at LJ and said, "Now either I've married a cheating liar who forgot that I have access to a variety of legally owned firearms, a shovel, and an alibi, or Amora is a stone cold liar on top of being a slut bucket. Now, you tell me, which one is it? Because either way, I got a bad black suit that's funeral ready, and I can cry on demand."
LJ said, "Girl, what are you talking about? I have never been a cheater or a liar, and I've never done either of those things to you." Regina stared deeply into LJ's eyes and, liking what she saw, said, "Well, that's good to hear. But tell me, what incentive did you have to give Amora Donovan's phone number?" LJ took a deep breath and sighed. "Baby, you and I were planning our wedding. Amora showed up outside of my apartment weaving an unbelievable tale about Roderick forcing her to cheat on Q with him by telling her some fantastic stories about how Q was cheating on her with our victims and witnesses and implicating me, and how he was covering up for us so that we wouldn't lose our jobs or go to jail. And he basically backed her into a corner where she had no other choice other than to have an affair with him in order to save me and Q. And that these stories that Roderick was feeding her were the reason why she believed Q was sleeping with Danielle. And I knew, despite the fact that she now knew that the stories weren't true, nothing would have stopped her from coming to you and repeating the stories as if they were, if I didn't give her what she was asking for, which was just Donovan's number. And since I knew that he was never going to tell her where Q was or give her his new number, I just gave it to her." Regina said, "But why not tell me? Come on, after all these years?" LJ said, "Babe, it was just a few days ago when you told me that after knowing me since the second grade and being with me for nearly 2 decades, you don't trust me any further than you can throw me." Regina said, "I don't. I trust me and God. And I keep my money in my bra because these the only 2 suckers I could trust." And if she would have told me, you should know that I would have got to the bottom of things. I'd have found out for myself. LJ said, "Right. And you would have confronted Roderick, who at the time was my boss, not just my friend. He had the power to make my life a living hell, whether Amora was telling the truth to me or not. If I don't know anything else about him, I know that he can be vindictive and conniving. And neither of you have ever liked each other." Regina said, "Well, you've got a point there. But I don't appreciate a woman telling me a damn thing about my husband. Now, we're going to have to prepare Angela, because when this shoe drops, it ain't going to be nothing nice." Regina spent the rest of the ride to Angela's house filling LJ in on Amora's story. LJ said, "Well, you're going to have to fill her in by yourself, because I have a meeting with Donovan. Just make sure you stress to Shotty that this isn't something that she can jump the gun on. We need to make sure we have all of the pieces to the puzzle before we put them in play." They kissed, and Regina headed into Angela's house. Regina walks in and sees Angela crying on Miss Brenda's lap. When she asks what's going on, Angela tells her that she read Amora's file at the church, and she can't say anything about what she read due to the confidentiality of her new role. Regina tells her that's fine, because she just came from Amora's office and she got the whole story from the horse's mouth. Miss Brenda said, "See, baby, I told you. God will reveal all in his time." Regina then proceeds to tell Angela everything that Amora told her, everything that LJ told her, and that they need to handle this like one of Q and LJ's investigations. Say nothing until you have the full picture. When she asked Angela if she can handle that, Angela said yes. But when Regina looked at her face, she knew that something was amiss. She said, I can tell just from looking at your face that you know what it is that Amora isn't saying. You're going to have to work on your poker face. Who knows how long it's going to take for the full truth to come out. Angela looked at Regina and Miss Brenda and said, "Can y'all please pray with me?" The ladies prayed. Angela went upstairs. She reread Q's letters like Miss Brenda advised, and then she made a phone call. When LJ arrived at Donovan's, Donovan was clearly suspicious. LJ said, "What up, bro?" Donovan said, "You tell me." LJ said, "I don't have time for games, bro. What's up with you and Amora?" Donovan said, "Ain't nothing up with me and Amora." LJ said, "Dude, I wasn't born yesterday. You might as well tell me before Amora tells Q." Donovan said, "What you mean?" LJ said, "My wife met with Amora today, and Amora told her an interesting story. So I'm giving you a chance to tell me your side of it. When this is all out, you are going to want to be on the right side of this. The last thing you want is for a woman like Amora to tell your story." Donovan said, "So she told Regina everything?" LJ, being a trained investigator, knew not to show his cards, so he bluffed and said, "Yep, she told her everything." Donovan said, "Listen, man, let me explain what happened. So listen, right? I was at the hotel bar the night of the wedding that never was, and in walks Amora. She makes a beeline for the bar, and she's so out of it she doesn't even see me sitting there. I have the bartender send her a drink from me, and when he points over to me and she looks up, I wave, pick up my drink, and go sit down next to her. I have no idea why this wedding was called off. So in my mind, I'm going to get her full of liquor, she going to tell me the story, and I'm going to have something to laugh at. I'm thinking my brother got cold feet, or maybe he got caught cheating. I didn't know. That's when she tells me about y'all captain and how he blackmailed her into sleeping with him by telling her that you and Q was sleeping with a gang of broads. Victims, witnesses, co-workers, all kind of chicks. And that the only reason why y'all still had y'all jobs and wasn't in jail was because he was covering for y'all. And he wouldn't continue to cover for Q if she didn't let him get a little trim. Everything happened with Danielle and Bruce and Q getting fired or retiring or whatever happened. And she thought it was all good. Her and Q could continue their relationship. She wasn't going to have to sleep with old boy no more. And if Roderick ever tried to tell Q, she was going to tell him that she knew all about him sleeping with all them broads. She said she was willing to forgive him for all of that. But something about that just ain't ring true to me. Even if she did believe that he was smashing all these shorties, why would she still want to marry the man? And why wouldn't she just expose Captain Arrington? Why would she actually go through with sleeping with him? She kept drinking and I kept drinking, but the difference between me and her is that I could handle my liquor. I waited until I knew she was sufficiently sauced, and then I pressed her. I asked her, how many other times, how many other men did she cheat on my brother with? With all that liquor in her system, her lips got real loose, and she admitted that she was cheating from the time he graduated and joined the force, and she was back in Greensboro. She was even cheating when she went home to help her parents when her mother got sick. She swore me to secrecy. And then she went with me back to my room. LJ said, "Come on, D, please tell me you didn't." Donovan said, "My brother was done with her. I knew it wasn't no way in the world he was ever going to take that broad back. Even if he didn't know about all the other dudes, it didn't matter what story she told him about Captain Arrington. He was never going to give her another chance. Catching her cheating? That was the final straw. She was already on a wing and a prayer. I figured he'd never know. I mean, what was one time going to hurt anyway?" LJ said, "It only takes one time to make a baby."